Hello viewers, 4DIYers here with another tutorial video for everyone. In this particular video here I'll be doing a demonstration on how to repair cracked plastic trim. A similar procedure can also be used on plastic bumpers as well, and I will be producing a video for that in the future. Also don't forget to check out my website at www.4diyers.com or click on the link in the description below. If you've enjoyed this video, also don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for future tutorial videos. Here you can see the trim is cracked. The first step is to remove the paint and getting to the raw plastic as we don't want any contaminants. This can be done by using coarse sandpaper. Here I'll be using 180 grit sandpaper to remove the paint to expose the bare plastic. Carefully sand the area. Depending on the damage, you will want to provide some support on the cracked area so it doesn't get any worse. If you wish, we can also use an abrasive pad just to clean up any of the edges where we didn't get or any hard to reach areas. This is only intended to remove any dirt or lightly attached contaminants on the surface. Clean the area using rubbing alcohol. This will remove any contaminants on the surface such as oil, dirt, wax, etc. This can also be applied to the crack, but be sure that it has evaporated before moving on to the next process. Once done, you should have something that looks like this. Using a soldering iron, with my particular model I have various tips which can be installed, but it isn't needed. If you do have a similar model, it is best to use a tip that has a flat surface. This helps smoothen out the repaired area. Work in a well-ventilated area using a respirator and safety glasses to prevent any eye irritation. Make sure the soldering iron is hot enough, then slowly tack the damaged area. Similar ideas such as tacking a body panel with a welder, although the plastic we don't have to worry about any warpage in the material. At first we just need to rough out the area, holding the parts back into place and then finally finish up with melting the full crack together. Don't be afraid to push the soldering iron tip a little deeper into the plastic, as this will ensure a strong bond rather than just melting the outer surface. Once you've melted the crack, as you can see, there is some cratering that has formed around the melted plastic. This will be cleaned up by using the flat portion of the tip, pushing the material back into place. Continue this process on the inside as well. Once done, you should have something that looks like this. I find some plastic after being melted will take longer to cure than others. This is shown by the plastic feeling somewhat soft or rubbery compared to the rest of the plastic piece. Some plastics may take a couple days to cure, and the repair won't be as strong until it has fully cured. After the plastic has cured, sand the area down with 180 grit sandpaper, smoothing out the repair and making a slightly lower indentation so it gives us a bit of room to apply some epoxy filler for added reinforcement. Next I'll be using an automotive grade epoxy filler to fill and reinforce the damaged area. This can be purchased at your local auto parts supplier. Various companies make these products. As you can see, this one here is a two-part epoxy with a self-mixing tip that requires a special applicator gun. Ensure that the epoxy is compatible with the plastic you are working with. Some epoxies may require an adhesion promoter in order to help the materials bond. My two-part epoxy also came with an information package to determine what type of plastic I am working with and if the materials are compatible. If the materials aren't compatible, it includes the extra steps that need to be taken. The product that you pick should also come with the same information. Wipe the area down with degreaser such as rubbing alcohol to remove any contaminants, then allow it to dry. Mix the two-part epoxy accordingly to the manufacturer's specification, apply it to the trim, and use a body filler applicator to smoothen out the epoxy. Allow it to harden and apply more if needed. Allow the final coat to harden. Curing times may vary between manufacturers. Once cured, block sand the area with 180 grit to rough out the shape. Finally, we can finish up using a flexible rubber pad to follow the contour of the trim and 220 grit sandpaper. You should finish up with something that looks like this. Working with this particular product, the edges will feather in nicely between materials. Wipe down the area again, removing any contaminants with a degreaser. Now using a compatible high filler primer, apply it to the surface. Depending on what products you have used between the epoxy and primer, some may have compatibility issues. Considering we are working with plastic, we also want to apply an adhesion promoter that allows the paint and primer to stick if the plastic is lightly flexed. Apply the adhesion promoter first. Here I'll be using a product by Duplicolor. Now apply the filler primer. This will fill in any small imperfections on the piece we are working with. Then allow it to dry. Depending on the thickness of coat you do apply, along with the climate, this will depend on how long it takes to dry. Once dried, sand the area using 400 grit sandpaper. After you're satisfied with this step, then give it a final wipe down with a degreaser. Finally, we can finish up with the paint. As for the color selection, this is primarily based on your choice. You may want the trim to be color matched to your vehicle's paint, such as this one. Use a textured paint, rubberized paint, etc. For this I'll be using a single stage acrylic enamel color matched paint. The paint was mixed by a local auto parts supplier according to my vehicle's paint code. Apply the paint to the piece. For this I'm laying 3 coats in total. Normally 2 to 3 coats are required, but this will be dependent on what type of finish you're wanting to achieve. I will be wet sanding the area afterwards to remove any orange peel. Allow the part to cure for a few days if you wish to wet sand it. I will include a link in the description below on a tutorial on how to wet sand and polish paint. Once done, you should have a final product that looks like this. This concludes the rest of my tutorial video. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to post them below. Also, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Thank you for watching.